Hey everybody, welcome to the Tipsy Chicks podcast. This is our other session that, as you can see, is F Cancer. And we wanted to do a side-by-side with two completely different bourbons. One at 114 proof with the Penelope and one at 154 with the Art of the Spirits. What's different in these two bottles, these were in collaboration with Take. So Jay West worked on these bottles with each distiller, and they should be bangers. They normally are.
Cool. I'm Deena.
I'm Andy.
And we're happy to be back. We hope you caught our first rollout podcast last week. What I notice about these two clearly the color right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The deep, darker color.
Deep amber, dark brown here. Yep. Much lighter with the Penelope.
Yeah.
Both of these bottles are newly opened. They've been sitting out about 20 minutes. On our left is Penelope on each, and the Hazmat, aka Art of the Spirits, is on the right. So
the Hazmat, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell them about it.
We rolled out our first podcast with the Hazmat. Didn't really explain to some of our viewers who may not know what that is. So Andy, take it away.
Well, Hazmat's about 140 proof and up, and there's a reason for that.
160.
Oh, sorry, 160?
The 140.
160 for your reason.
Yeah, so the 140, the whole reason they adopted that term of hazmat is commercial flights won't allow anything over 140 proof. They consider hazmat.
So still hazmat.
Yeah.
Either way.
So
most of us drinking bourbon know about 140. Sometimes 137s, if they're hot, we call them hazmat because they're just higher proof. Gotcha. And we all know that some drink hotter than others. So we're going to venture in to see how these two drink, each separately. But
did you say what these were?
Yeah,
sorry.
I did.
All right, sorry. I really was here.
So let's try the Penelope first. Obviously, it's, like I said, 114 proof. Little ethanol in the nose. What do you think?
Yeah, I catch that. That's kind of all I'm catching right now.
It's got a little citrus to me, like some kind of fruit. I can't place it.
I can't either.
Maybe a little bit of a cherry. Something cherry on the nose for me. It smells nice. It's light, obviously.
And it's definitely light.
Yeah. You can see the color.
Yeah, it's a nice amber
contrast.
Color. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh. It's nice and smooth. When it first is on my tongue, I got a little bit of pepper, like a black pepper, but not hot.
I'm catching a little spice there.
Yeah.
But it's staying up front. It's not traveling down.
A little bit of that. I can definitely taste the oak, and I definitely taste like a burnt sugar.
I got the oak. That's kind of
because there's a sweetness mid palate for me. And again, we'll both taste things differently. You'll taste things differently, but now I'm starting to get a little warmth in my chest.
Starting now.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like it took a minute.
It's not traveling down like I'm thinking about last week.
Yeah, no, mine's here already, but it's just warm again. This is 2 weeks in a row now we've had warm, right?
Right.
I still can't. That cherry, maybe. Let me have another slip. You know what? There I get more leather. Like a leather. I get a... Wow, that's...
I'm thinking about the texture of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it does coat.
Look at the legs going down in the glass. They're not real... It's not real viscous.
I think it's real complex though.
No, I don't find a lot of complexity to this particular bottle, but I remember Jay's description slightly, and how he said that the more you taste it, the better it developed. Maybe if we put a drop of water in, which I don't have sitting next to me, it would open up differently a little bit.
Maybe.
Um,
So who's Jay?
Jay is part of Take, Jay West.
Gotcha.
I'm in that group, and every week we get a survey. You get to pick your top, depending on how many bourbons he's putting out. You get your first choice, second choice, and it's basically a lottery, so it's very fair every week. But I never pass up on anything, and I've never had a bad bottle. So a little shout out to Jay West and Take.
You can tell who's the more experienced in this and who's not. But, so I'm going to learn a lot from her doing this.
We have, look, our executive producer here. Let's put a drop of water in.
Okay.
See if it changes anything with our Penelope here. A little swirl. Ooh, yeah. Make one hard drip. So I put 3 drops in. Oh, definitely. I smell cherry for sure. It's a nice cherry bomb for me on the nose with that.
Yeah, I'm still.
Yep. I'm still getting the cherry and the leather, and they're sweet. It's not marshmallow, it's not vanilla. Maybe more of a really burnt sugar.
Yeah, the first one was sweeter.
And as I've had now a couple sips, there's that warmth is not sitting with me like it did in the very first sip, just letting it sit for a minute.
It's still staying on the front for me.
A little bit, you still get the black pepper taste on the front of your palate. Really,
that's pretty much what I'm getting. I'm not pulling any cherry or anything like that, but that's me.
Yeah, but again, it's subjective.
Yeah.
So we taste what we taste.
All right, let's maybe move on.
Yeah, let's give it a couple little swirls. Okay, so we're on to the Art of the Spirits.
Yes.
I think as dark as this is, my guess it's going to be, take a look at that. That is some dark bourbon.
Yeah, the darkest I've seen. But...
And if you want to, take a look side by side. I don't know if the light helps at all, but there's a definite difference on the Art of the Spirits. At 154 proof, sounds like it's going to be hot. Won't know till we try. And
I'm going to take a sip.
I'm taking a sip of the water. Ooh, there's definite ethanol on the nose of this, even though it's been sitting. Wow. It's a nice label.
I'm catching some oak.
Definite oak.
All right, let's just.
You know what? This is caramely for me too. It's sugary, like it's something burnt.
I can't get past the ethanol much.
If I make caramel myself for dessert, which I have, and I burnt it, but just to where I want it to be thicker, it smells like that to me. Again, I'm no expert. Neither one of us are, but this is how we taste it as ladies. So,
all right,
ready?
Yep.
Wow, that's definitely different from the 1/4. Little hot for you, my friend. Oh, see, I don't get that at all. I get, wow, it's a caramel bomb. I still got the pepper from the heat, but I don't get fire like my friend here who's.
I got some fire there.
I need a fire extinguisher. But, wow. This is good. Art of the Spirits. This is
the
a
second
great
step's
bottle.
usually a little more tame. So I'm hoping.
Ooh. I get citrus, a little orange.
I just got some citrus.
Like an orange peel. A little burnt orange.
And clearly, I'm not breathing fire, but
see,
I
just now,
feel the heat, but it's a little more.
Yeah, but it's a really, really well balanced heat. But that caramel and burnt orange is really good.
I'm catching.
let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm 29. I need readers.
As you learned last week.
It does say sugar on the palate, a caramel and oak, which we said. Doesn't mean that there's not the citrus, which I'm getting. By the way, this one is 65% corn, 17.5% rye, and 17.5% wheat. So that's a big difference, obviously, than the Penelope. And the Penelope here is 48% corn, 46% rye, 3% malted barley, and 3 malted rye. So obviously different blends, different mash bills, different colors and flavors. Out of the two, if I have friends over who are newer to bourbon, but they want something good, clearly the Penelope.
Yeah.
My favorite of the two, I like them both. I like a little higher proof. This burnt caramel and the citrus and then the warmth, but not the pepper. I love that how balanced this is. I feel like this is more what I need. The layers that I get when I taste it are something that I don't get as much of with the Penelope.
Sure. I didn't think this was complex.
And let me have another sip. I think I'm going to find something else too.
Maybe find what I need.
Wow. Yeah, it's orangey, lemony, that citrus.
Yeah,
like you burnt the peel, to put into your old fashioned or something. Like you just burn it real quick.
Yeah. It's more on the citrus side.
Yeah, and I also get.
That's as far as I can go.
See, the caramel's coming out now, really strong at the end.
I don't get the caramel, but the smoothness or the coating, I guess.
Yeah, it's a more viscous bourbon, right? Yeah. I would say viscous. And if you swirl it, which I am, and I know I drank some, but the legs are definitely a little slower than the Penelope, so it's taken a minute longer, which talks about the sugars in the bourbon itself, but still for me.
Sorry. It is what it is.
So
let's talk about, the whole cancer thing.
Yeah. We both have friends who have had cancer, but either they beat it or they didn't. I really was waiting for this year's Cancer's bottles to come out. I was very excited to be able to have the opportunity to get the Art of the Spirits Penelope with Take. When that was put out, it was my number one choice. And I actually got in the first wave and was able to secure a bottle. So I was very happy about that. I love them both. If I want something light, where I just want an evening sipper, I might have 2, maybe 3 little Glencairns. I would go with the Penelope. When I want a banger, more of a banger or something that's just a little more layered and developed for my palate, it would be Art of the Spirits.
I'd have to pick this one just because of where I'm at. I'm getting a lot of heat here, so I'm not quite ready for that. And I just want to toast to those friends and family members who have endured cancer, and some didn't quite survive, but we love them all, and to them.
And we support both these. Obviously, some of the proceeds go to help fight cancer. I'm always a big believer in supporting those causes. I think it's important.
Sure.
I hope that I'm not one of the people who ever needs support, but if it happens, I hope some people are out there to support me too.
You'd have it for sure. Thanks all for joining us. We appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you next week. We do have some things in line.
Yeah. Some really awesome things. I hope some of you are good detectives or understand Easter eggs.
So Andy, real quick.
Yeah.
What turned you on to bourbon?
Oh, what turned me on to bourbon? Do I have to be honest about this?
Yeah.
Okay, so for a long time, I loved beer. And when craft beer came about, I was crazy about it. And I learned everything there could be about beer, all the different styles. My favorites were IPAs. And then I had an opportunity to take a job in Asheville, North Carolina, which I wanted for my career. Had nothing to do with beer. But when I got down there, I realized it's one of the big beer places. And so being by myself at the time down there, what I do, I went to breweries. I met people. I got to know people. I tried a bunch of different things. And I went as far as working on the Cicerone exam, which is like a sommelier of beer. I did everything but take the test. So I learned a lot about beer. And then a really close friend of mine who happens to be from North Carolina, she always is like, you gotta have bourbon, you gotta have bourbon. Because she came with me everywhere we went for beer tastings, and I had all my friends taste beer, right? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, taste this and tell me what you think and see if it's what I think so I could take the test. She's like, you need to do bourbon. So to be honest, first few times I tasted it, went with her, I was like, this tastes like ass. Like, I just remember doing shots of Jack Daniels. Nothing against Jack Daniels, but when you're young, you're just pounding a shot and you're like getting woozy and you don't feel good in your 20s, right? It was like that for me. Like, I couldn't get past that. But then at one point, I got a bourbon. I don't know. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but and it wasn't Buffalo Trace or something like that. It was a little bit more robust. I was like, oh, I taste caramel, and I taste this, and I was like, this is really good. And then as I aged, I was like, I feel like crap when I drink beer. And like late at night, I just like, I can't sleep, you know? So I started venturing and doing more bourbon tastings and trying things. And because of my friend, I was just like, holy crap, I love bourbon. The funny thing is now I'm going to just say this, hundreds of bottles. And they're not all opened, and I save them for our podcasts. But I probably am a little more schooled in different bourbons and learning my palate than my friend who brought me into bourbon. It's funny for me because the other thing I like, being a woman and aging, I'm just going to be honest, like I'm transparent like that. I could have 2, 4, 6 ounces, maybe 8 in an evening. I'm not buzzy. I don't feel full. I sleep fine, you know, because you sip it and you take your time and you enjoy it. But the bigger thing I love is enjoying it with friends that come over and sharing and people trying it and me bringing other friends into it who are like, I've always wanted to get into it. So
we've been friends a long time.
A really long time,
we discovered bourbon separately, really.
We did, yeah.
And, you know, I'm retired law enforcement, so I worked with a lot of men who were into bourbon. And it's not that I was trying to hang with them, but it sort of introduced me to it. And then I was getting into camping, so I thought, oh, that would be a good, you know, camping kind of drink maybe. And so I started, and that was when Buffalo Trace kind of blew up and all, which wasn't that long ago, but, you know, so clearly I'm a novice at this. And I don't know, it's funny how as you age, your palate changes because, you know.
Especially as women.
Maybe,
I think it's very different for us. We go through different things than men do.
True, for sure.
I love men. This is not against men. It's just our sense of smell is a little bit more sensitive from a medical standpoint, and I'm in healthcare, than men. But that doesn't, there are men super tasters and there are women super tasters.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really different.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, even with wines, you know, when you're young and you taste red wine for the first time, you're like, whoa, you know. But you develop as you age, and I just remember thinking, I'll never drink bourbon and floor cleaner, you know. No. But it really has been a fun experience, you know, learning the different just nuances of all of them, really. So I'm excited about this podcast moving on, and I'm happy to do it with my long-term friend Andy. And thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it.
Cheers.
Tipsy Chicks.
And make sure you like us and follow us because upcoming mystery is going to be coming.
That's right. Take care.
Cheers.